In my first video, we added some devices to the portal. Now, important note right now, we need to add a routing peer that allows us to access resources in the network. This is going to be one of the most important devices or virtual machines. I'm going to virtualize mine because my server is always on. You could use a desktop if you want to, but in my instance, today, we're going to install Ubuntu Server on my Proxmox box and set it up with a key so we can have a routing peer. Not hard to do, a couple steps, but it's going to be a very important VM you want to use if you want to access resources in the network from your mobile phone or your laptop on the road. Now, I'm going to also be showing you guys how to install Mitch and a WordPress in following videos. So make sure you are liked and subscribed, and I will be doing other things that people are asking for. First things first, we need to log into our Proxmox server. I have that right here. I believe I have put in the server. We have the Ubuntu Server ISO on the server, which is what we needed because we have to build the virtual machine. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to the top here. We'll click Create a Virtual Machine. We will call it, it will just default to 103, and I'm going to call this, I'm going to call it what I call it on my lab. I'm going to call it exit-node, and that's what I use on my server, so I know exactly what it's doing. It's exiting traffic into my network. Okay, we'll go next. The ISO image, there's only one in there, so we have to select that one. Next again, I don't change any of these. 10 gigs, and even at that is a lot of storage, so not really needed. Sockets, cores, I'm gonna give it 4 cores, because if you have a lot of traffic going through it, it might need it. Probably doesn't need it, but I have many cores to give it, so we'll do that. It's only giving it 2 gigs of RAM, but I want to give it 8. So 8192 to be correct. We'll go here. And we will just use the default network because it's on there. I don't have any VLANs or anything set up because it's still being fresh and we're still inventing things on here. We'll go next. And start after created. And we'll click finish. It will build the VM down in the corner here. There we go. It's unlocked. It's now starting up. We can go to the console and actually work on it. I hear the fans ramping up on the little box up top there. I'll put a picture in the video of what I'm actually using, which is a Protectly, what is this thing? i5, where is that? 12 cores, i5 with 64 gigs of RAM. Nice little box. Perfect for what I'm doing here. So we'll click try or install the server. A key note to this, when you're installing this and doing the networking, we need to make sure that we have a static IP address in there because we don't want it to be on DHCP, because if it changed IP address, it won't work properly. English, that looks all fine, done. Ubuntu server, and yep, done. It's doing a DHCP address, but we're going to change that. So we'll go up to here, and we'll go to this, and we'll click on this and go edit IPv4. We don't want it to be automatic, so we'll click this, and we'll go manual. Subnet is 10.0.12.0/24. The address we want to give it is 10.0.12.5. Our gateway is 10.0.12.1. Name server, we'll give it 9.9.9.11, comma, and 9.9.9.9. Then we'll go save. Okay. Done. We don't need any proxy addresses, so we'll go done. Part where we can do our partitioning. I'm just going to say use entire disk because it's a small disk. So we'll go done. Everything on here is available and ready to go. It's done its partitioning, so we'll push done again. Selecting current configuration will be installed, proceed. You will not be able to return to this, so we'll go continue. Install Open SSH server. Yes, because when I start installing the keys, I'm going to be able to use my terminal window built into Mac so we can see things a little bit better. So we'll go install that. Okay, and done. It's going to go ahead and install the server. As it's doing that, we now have to go make something in our account in Netbird. So over in the dashboard here, we have a thing called setup keys. Setup keys allows us to use the same key to add devices that are always going to be staying on from my terms that don't need to be authenticated because they're local and they're on the network. On your phone, you probably want to make it so it expires every 24 hours or re-authenticates with your 2FA or your laptop. But on a device like maybe IMH or on your web hosting or any other devices and virtual machines you want to put on there, you want to use this. So, first note, copy the key down and store it somewhere else. I put mine in a key pass manager, and that's where I keep all that stuff because you can't see the key after you create it and don't copy it down. Key note, been there, done that, trying things out, I had to start over again. So, first thing we need to do is setup keys, create a setup key. We're going to call this local dash instances. Local instances for devices, or not devices, but virtual machines locally here so we can identify this. Make this key reusable? Yes. Usage for unlimited? I'm going to keep mine unlimited because I don't know how far I'm going to expand. I want to be able to keep expanding. I'm pretty sure you can create another setup key and use those for other devices if you want to. It's not, you don't have to have one, and you could probably name them for certain instances, like web stuff would go for this one, or maybe laptops or something else, whatever your imagination desires for something else. I'm just going to keep it like this. Expires in, and it says right here, days until the key expires. Leave empty if you want it to not expire. I don't want mine to expire because then if it expires, my nodes and my other things will stop working. Okay, and that's it. We will scroll down over here and create our key. Okay, I'm not going to assign any groups to it or anything like that because there isn't any groups and there's no routing peers in there yet. We'll do that later on. So we'll go create key. And it says right here, setup key created successfully. I'll blank mine out, obviously. This key will not be shown again. This is extremely important right here. This key will not be shown again. So to copy it down, make sure you do this. I'm going to copy mine. Okay, we now have that key. We can close it and we're ready to go. Now, on Netbird's documentation, I'm going to Google this, but I can't remember the link. Netbird setup key. Install setup key. There's a link I found. It's very easy to do. And we go down here. There's a command. Oh. Install Netbird. Linux. There we go. It's down here somewhere. I will put the link for this in the video down below for you guys to find this easily. Their documentation is great. Please use it. Find things, use it. Where is that? And then here it is right here. To install the Netbird key on the computer, we use this right here. And keynote, this is part of the setup instruction. The key goes after that right here. Made this mistake once. I learned, and I want to pass that on to you. So let's go see if our server's done. It still looks like it's doing stuff, so we'll wait. As it's doing that, we can go over here to peers, And if we click add up here, we can copy down this command right here to install Netbird on our server. Once it's installed, then we could use the other command to install the peer. Okay, it's booted. Let's try terminaling in. I'll try to make this a little bit bigger for you guys here. Let's see here. Cool. So now we go SSH space -L, the username, Biddlepants, keep it simple, and to the IP address 10.0.12.5, and it should work. Do you want to continue connecting? Yes. And then it'll ask us for a password. Hopefully I type my password in right. And we're in. Okay, now we need to install Netbird, which is easy. We hop over to our command over here. We copy this, go back to our terminal window, and just go here, and we go paste, push enter, put in our password again. It'll go out and install everything. Done. Netbird up. Now, we copy this, and I cheated while you guys were waiting for this to install. I just copied it into my notepad here, like this. So our Netbird command up and setup key, I'll exit out my key so that way you guys don't have it. Make sure you guard that, because anybody that has that can install it on their device and then be into your network. Careful. Okay, we'll copy this, paste it into here, and we'll push enter, connected, and done. Now we can go over to our peers here, and I saw it pack up. There it is. Exit node is now online and working. And I believe, nope, Netbird's not running on the laptop, right? No, it is. It's just not showing up in the bar there. We could technically, if we wanted to, SSH to it, back to it with this IP address because we're on that network, but we're not. Now what I want to do is I want to set this up with the exit node features and stuff like that and make sure this works. We have to go over to networks. We have to add a network in here. So did we create this when we onboarded this? Let's just check here. Let me just see here. We created our network. Oh, we did. It's right there. So now if we go to network routing networks, if we create a network route, we should be able to go to add a route. And we want to go network range 10.0.12.0/24, which is our main network. And we can add a routing peer, which is what we just created. We want to select this guy. Then we want to go continue. Distribution groups, we want to go all. Make sure you're paying attention to this so that way we have that in there. And then access groups, we want to give everybody all. You can tailor this later on to certain individuals. I'll get into all that later on. We can make it for groups where people aren't allowed to use this service, all that kind of stuff. But right now, we're just going to make it so it's all. So when we connect things to it, it'll just work. Okay? Then we'll go connect. We'll call this routing-exit-node. I'm going to copy this into the description so it's easy to find later on. We go continue, enable this route, and we'll go add route. Do you want to create a new access control policy for the route exit node? Nope, we'll do that later on. So that is now on, and it is working. Technically, I should be able to take my phone that we have connected here. Let's see here. The iPhone is not on there. I have to re-authenticate, so we can go like this and go here. Connecting. Here we go. We're online. Authenticated. Okay. Connecting. We are now connected. Not showing here. Maybe I have to refresh my page. let's go here. Give it a quick refresh. There we go. We're all online. Now, if you guys were watching the video, I created a while back a Pi-hole instance. I'm going to be showing you guys how to set all that up. Stay tuned. There's stuff coming. And I gave it a IP address of course, not going to show it because it's not rebooted, 1 digit up from the subnet. So technically, I should be able to launch my browser on this phone and go 10.0.12.2/admin and get to my Pi-hole server, which is right there. And I know that it's working because I added this as a resource, or as a note, so I can go through and get to that. Works really, really, really well. Now, hopefully that didn't bore you guys and it is helpful to somebody. I know it's a long video. I'm going to try to take things out of there. It's not needed, but this will be very, very valuable later on to go and do other instances and other features we're going to be setting up here on here. IMMH is going to be one of those. Pi-hole DNS on the actual network will be another one. So, like and subscribe. Hopefully this is going to help you guys out, and I have lots more to go. So, thanks very much for watching, and we'll go from there. See you guys later.